What's up, folks? How y'all doing? I'm Coach Block, coming in with a 10th edition of the podcast. And with this 10th edition, I had decided to do something special. And what I wanted to do was find out from the female aspect what they go through. We've been a heavy male show. I've had NFL guys on. I've had male student athletes. I've had male coaches. I've had all that. And I had to take a pause for the cause and sit down and think and say, hold up. Nah, there's a whole side that we're missing. So we've been dealing with mental health and we've been dealing with preparation for college and what it takes and all that. But we've only heard one side. So for me, I said, hold on, man, I got to be able to have a show where we're actually talking to the ladies, because I know there's a whole nother side to this story, because my mom was or is an athlete, and she's in better shape than me. But my mom is an athlete. She played basketball. She coached basketball. She played women's professional. She played women's professional football for the Pittsburgh Passion. And some of the stuff she did while being a mom. So it's like, hey, I got to hear this. We got to hear this. We got to understand the other side so that we can support our lady athletes just as much as the male athletes get supported. One thing we know, and you heard LeVar Arrington say, there's a lot of people that get around the male athlete. A male athlete can say there's something wrong with his elbow, and there's a team of people around. So we want to make sure we do the same thing for our lady athletes, and also keep the focus on what the mental side of things, because on the court, that's the show. But once the lights are done and the final whistle blows, what goes on in the mind and the emotions and the thoughts of an athlete when we talk about their alone time. So with that being said, we definitely want to make sure we address both sides, male and female. So with that, we're going to jump straight into it. But first, I have a quick message from LeVar Arrington, who is now sponsoring our show with his Warrior Woke program. So we have a quick message from LeVar, and we'll jump straight into the show.
You should want to take this program because it provides a roadmap to maximizing the success of your sports and life career. When I look at a warrior, and a warrior that is woke, the preparation, you're aware of the what, you're aware of the why, and you're aware of the how. You're able to, in essence, create a winning process and your preparation that will ultimately dictate what your outcomes will be. Warrior Woke is more of a way of life, finding the balance of what it represents to play that sport. We provide a structure and a foundation that actually gives you the ability to set yourself apart from just being an athlete. If we can build the identity of who you are, it will ultimately go a super long way in what your sports career will look like, what the results will be. That's what Warrior Woke represents.
So I want to thank my friend and colleague, LeVar Arrington, for sponsoring our show and his company, Warrior Woke. That's huge. One of the big things about Warrior Woke is they deal with the mental side of things. What I will have coming up is a 5-day seminar that he will be offering. It only costs $30. It will introduce you to Warrior Woke and the arc of success. It's something that I think everybody should go through. I'm putting myself through this, and I think it's going to be pretty cool. I'm a little nervous because it deals with getting into your feelings, emotions, and whys, and why things are this and why things are that. So I definitely want to make sure I can co-sign all the information that's given. I think it's going to be awesome. LeVar co-signed, he did it. And if anybody knows LeVar, he is an intense dude. So he called me like, you better have your 5 days in. So I got to start my 5 days. And once I do it, I will give the information to you guys and see if we can get more people to be involved with Warrior Woke in the mindset. Now, with that being said, it's time for our guest. We have a huge show here. I'm pretty nervous myself because of the star power that we have. One of the things that I didn't want to say is Black Girl Magic. And the reason why I don't want to say that is because I don't want anybody to downgrade the work that these ladies have put in. So I want to call it Black Girl Grind or Black Woman Work, because all these women have put in a level of work to get where they're at that I think needs to be recognized. And we're going to start with our first guest. I'm just going to jump in with her. And her name is Ashley Battle. How you doing?
What up?
So, Ms. Battle is her resume is huge. We got starting with the University of Connecticut, moving from University of Connecticut to WNBA. With the WNBA, after that, she jumped into the operations side, or actually, I'm sorry, into financing. And then after financing, jumped into the operations of the NBA. And now she is with Women in Nike. So her resume is so large and so huge, it's not even funny. So I'm not going to lie, it's intimidating because I don't even know where to start. So with Ashley, I just want to get into the mindset. And I'm sorry, 1 second. If we can, the reason why I want to do this, I'm trying to switch it up a little bit. I like to get Coach Meyers in on the mindset too, being a coach. So we also have Coach Meyers, who is 12 straight consecutive conference championship. She just won a state championship last year. She coaches at Southeast Raleigh. She's a former baller herself at UNC Asheville. And so these women have been around ball and have coached people and have seen ball on multiple sides. So I have to have them together. So let's talk about the mindset. Let's talk about just the athletic mindset for women. And is there a difference between a male athletic mindset and a female mindset? And I'll start with you, Ms. Matt.
I don't necessarily think there's a difference in mindset. I just think, as an athlete and you're playing on a high level, you have goals and you have determination and you have a mind. Your mind is just determined to get better and to do the next thing that's going to get you better, whether it's watching film, whether it's out, shooting or getting better physically. And then you also have to take care of your mental, whether that is, just taking time to relax as well, which is also really important.
Myers?
Right. I don't think there is a difference. Just to kind of piggyback off of what she said. I mean, to me, basketball is basketball. Being an athlete, whether you're female, whether you're male, you just have to have that competitive spirit. And, I just think that translates to success, whether you are male or female. So just bringing that on a consistent basis.
So one of the things that I always ask the guys when I have them on is the mindset when it's over. So Ashley, you converted into finances once basketball was over, and Coach Meyers, you became a teacher, and then you started teaching. So talk to the players or parents who are watching this and the mindset that they have to get into when sports is over, because it's over for all of us at some point in time, and really having the what do I do now? Because I think there's a gray area at times where your athletics have been your identity for so long that what do I do when it's done?
So I did a lot of financial planning and helped build a sports and entertainment division at a financial planning firm. And one of the things that we would tell our athletes is this is something that you need to think of while you're playing. You need to think of life after sports immediately, because when you're playing sports and while you're, especially professional sports, you have all the leverage. You can leverage your name, you leverage your team, you have people who want to get at you. So leverage that opportunity when you're with them playing to navigate and see the things that you like. You can do internships, you can do different things to see what you like. And by the time you're ready to quit, you can quit because you want to quit versus, getting pushed out.
Got you. Coach Meyers.
Let me get you to repeat that again, because I had something
that's okay. We know that it ends for all of us at some point in time. Both of you guys played, and So then at a point in time, you said, all right, I'm going to be a teacher, and now I'm going to coach. So that gray area, though, of when it starts to become a reality that this is over, can you talk about that mindset of what you need to where you can have an identity outside of athletics?
Well, the one thing that we talk about to our high school girls is using basketball as a vehicle to get to where you want to go. It's not an end all be all. And so, we want to get our girls an opportunity to go to school for free. And in doing that, it's not just, you want to be successful in athletics, but there is life past athletics. So we want you to be able to use your athletic ability and be successful in that realm, but also let that be something that propels you to your future. So as you're playing in college, you're figuring out, because I know for myself, I changed my major 2 to 3 times in college, just trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And then also using just some of the points as far as what basketball teaches you, as far as your work ethic, teamwork, just using that to translate to be successful in whatever arena you choose as far as your profession after basketball.
Awesome. So the one thing that both of you ladies have done is succeeded on a high level as far as sports. And UConn, you've won 3 national championships, am I correct?
Yep, there's 3 of them in there.
Okay, and then Coach Meyers, you've 12 straight consecutive conference championships is nothing to sneeze at. And if I could be honest, I've identified your team kicking people's butt quite some. It gets crazy on the court sometimes. So when you hear coaches and players say it's the standard, like, so for example, UConn is the standard, they're used to winning, or Southeast Raleigh, you're used to winning. What is that mindset? What is that I see we got the Mamba behind you, like ideally, like what is that mindset into consistently coming in and consistently knowing that the target is on your back? I mean, you did it at UConn and you're doing it at Southeast Raleigh. How do you manage that? And start with you, Coach Meyers.
I think the key word that you kind of put out there is consistency. I think, consistency and work ethic, just the consistency in your approach to the game, consistency in your standards. I think, with my girls, I tell them from year to year, I don't care who graduated. Southeast Raleigh is Southeast Raleigh. It's going to be Southeast Raleigh no matter if, we graduated 5 D1 athletes or not. So I'm going to hold everyone to the same, because that's just what we do. We are Southeast Raleigh basketball, and it's not going to change from year to year based upon players. So just holding them accountable, stepping up to the plate, and being all that Southeast Raleigh is.
And Ms. Battles.
In addition to that, I'd like to, just say winning is very difficult to do, and, people think it's an easy thing to see UConn win year in and year out. We win because Gino is very challenging, and he challenges us every day, and he makes us compete against one another, and he cheats all the time. So he changes the score, and he makes it very difficult for us to beat him on a daily basis. And our practices were so difficult and so hard that the games were easy. And I think that's one aspect that when you translate from sports into the real world, so to speak, we're so accustomed to working extremely hard and being in a place where we do everything at such a high level that losing is just not an option. So we have to continue to grind it out. And I think that's what makes athletes so great in corporate America, because we know how to be a team player. We know how to work hard. We are selfless individuals. There's so many things that athletes are capable of doing. It's just a matter of translating that onto a resume.
Awesome. Now, we're going to have a few young ladies on in a moment who are going to talk about selecting their schools and what goes into their process. My question for you two, one being, you went to UConn, UConn's top. And Coach Meyers, you are an influencer of schools because you can see a kid's character and say, you may not want to go to a UConn because it might not be the best fit for you. We'll say it that way. Whereas, the kids may have that story, idea, and dreams. Can you guys talk about just making whatever choice your big time? Like, for example, if you go to a D2 school, it's no less than going to a D1 school. Is it more about the fit? And we'll start with you, Ms. Battle. Sorry.
I think it's just real important to be comfortable in your environment where you're going. You see kids all the time go to a school and they go to the school because of the name, but it's not a good fit for them. And if you have dreams and aspirations, you gotta talk to the coach about those things, before you get there, because really in the recruiting process, that is when you have all of your leverage. Because once you get there, it's a wrap.
It's over.
It's over.
Everybody's faces change. It goes from the smiles and the hugs to let's get to work. So, Coach Meyers, when you have a player who may have, I don't want to say it this way, but unrealistic expectations, where in your mind you see them more as a fit at another place versus what they may see themselves, how do you break that news to them, or what is your evaluation to them to keep it realistic?
Well, I'm known for keeping it real.
I've heard.
So we'll have a nice little conversation where, not trying to hurt feelings, but just realistic, because what you don't want to do is co-sign on a place that is not going to be right for them, and then they get there and have a miserable experience. So as a coach, to just be real, whether they take my advice or not, it's my job just to let them know, my thoughts, because I feel like I have a lot of experience in that area. One thing that I can say about, really picking a school, you definitely want to find the best fit. And it's not necessarily always about the coaching staff, because when you get to the collegiate level, 9 times out of 10, you'll have a different coach within the 4 years that you're there. So it can't always be about the coach, but you have to make sure that you really like the school as well, and that they offer the academic programs that you're looking for. But then I would also say, I had one girl, Jabia Hazel, who graduated last year, who definitely could have gone ACC, but did not. She went to James Madison, and it has been the best fit for her. She's been Rookie of the Week. She's killing it, probably averaging, I think, 14 points per game as a freshman, and she's just doing her thing. And so you have to make the best choice for you, not necessarily about the height of the school or the level of the school. It's about what works for you.
Awesome. Now, with making it work for you and going into Ms. Battle, going into the WNBA and then transitioning out of the WNBA, or I don't even want to push past the WNBA. While in the WNBA, can you talk about just that overall experience? Were you able to be in the moment and just be like, wow, I'm here? Or was it something that you ended up reflecting on after it was over?
When I got first off, I didn't know if I was going to get drafted to the WNBA. I was prepared not to be drafted. Ironically, I had a job lined up at Nike, and I end up being back there now. But I was, prepared to get into corporate America. And then when I got drafted, it was like, okay, well, let's do this. I know that I'm talented enough to play in this league, but it was just a matter of, all right, let's work and grind it out and stuff like that. So to answer your question, as far as did I enjoy it, smell the roses while I was playing? It's hard to do that, from my perspective, but I try to as much as I can, especially when I played overseas in Europe, because you have a lot more downtime. And just really try to take in the sights and take in and seeing different historical landmarks while I was overseas, and then also while I played in the WNBA. Just taking in that opportunity to be with my teammates, really, because a lot of Uconn players were on almost every team in the WNBA when I was playing. So pretty much every game wasn't a reunion, so to speak. So playing against my friends and my sisters was an amazing time.
Awesome. Now, with you saying playing with your sisters, that took me into my next question, which is just understanding the culture. I have a coach that the culture is so intense for the ladies basketball team. When I first got to Raleigh, they were like, when you go to the Southeast game, it's about the ladies. And I'm laughing like, huh? Yeah, it's about the ladies. There's going to be more fans for the ladies game than there will be the boys fans. And I'm like, really? And then I seen the show. So tell me about the culture, Coach Meyers, and how do you keep that going, and how do you keep that culture alive in these young ladies to where, Southeast Raleigh and even Enloe is in Southeast Raleigh, which is not necessarily a glamour place for some of the student athletes, we'll say. How do you keep that culture going and just manifest that greatness in those girls year after year?
Well, playing at Southeast Raleigh and in the Southeast Raleigh community, you have to come with a chip on your shoulder, because you're gonna have your fair share of adversity, and these kids have faced it. They overcome it daily, and so I think that translates to just success on the court, because we definitely hold them to that high standard, and we fight. Like, I don't, a lot of people haven't seen us play, but our girls go and get it. And that's just what we bring to the table. And I think that's just what's in them, just to be competitive. And that's just the standard, again, that we have from year to year, regardless, who graduates, who comes in. And I say it all the time, before tryouts, everybody can't play at Southeast Raleigh High School. And it's not necessarily about talent, but it's just about, willingness to be coachable. And my Lola. All right,
Hey.
all right, baby, all right. And you can be talented and you can come to Southeast Raleigh and you might not make the team. That's because we look for more than just talented basketball players. We're looking for good girls all around. Are you coachable? Are you a team player? Can you receive criticism from coaches, from your teammates? Can you behave in the classroom? Are you a model citizen? I mean, there's just so much that goes into being a Southeast Raleigh basketball player that's so much more than basketball.
Awesome. Now, ladies, I know I had scripted the show because I wanted to get you guys in because both of you had things going on, and I wanted to know if you guys want to stay. Cool.
I'm staying.
Oh, you staying? Awesome. And Miss Battles, if you got to go, I understand. But I do want to
stay for a little bit.
Cool, because I want to ask you something about, before we go into our D1 athlete, next D1 athlete, I want to ask you about women in Nike. So I've seen that you just got involved in this, and I've been watching your social media, and it seems like there's a lot of people. What is Women in Nike?
So Women in Nike is really an opportunity for WNBA players to go into corporate America at Nike. What I said earlier about, athletes having a lot to offer, it's very similar on, being offered to go to Nike as well. So for me, for example, I am a sneakerhead. I've always been a part of the Jordan culture. I've always been, heavily in tune in fashion and what's happening and what's going on. So when this opportunity arose, it was just a very good mix for me to be able to use the things that I know on the court and have them, be translated into actually producing shoes that are going to be worn by women and kids.
Awesome. Can't wait to see more of that, because when you posted it, I'm like, Women in Nike, what's that? So
yeah, they just drop a little dime in there every once in a while.
Yeah. Awesome. So coming up next, to keep with this great panel, is an athlete that I had the opportunity to get a chance to coach, because she wanted to train with the boys. She wanted to train with the fellas at times, and she would get mad at me because at first I'm like, nah, man. And she's like, I want to be pushed. I hear you guys yelling and chanting. I want to be a part of that. So I let her in. And next thing you know, she was working out harder than some of my boys. So it translated into her game. She's been kicking butt ever since. And when I spoke to Daniel last week, if you guys remember, we had Daniel Bryant, who was in the horrific car accident. And I told you there were 2 other students. She was also in that car accident, and she has overcame a lot of adversity since that car accident as well. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Kaya Moore. How you doing, Kaya?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Loosen up. Look, you're nervous. I can see it in your face. It's okay. So how have you been?
I've been good.
Good. So tell me, well, let's start at the beginning, man. So you've been playing volleyball for how long?
I've been playing volleyball since probably 2nd grade.
Okay, 2nd grade, and then transitioned you all the way into high school. So we'll speed up there. So that's Miss Moore at University of Tennessee. So if you can, because I want to be able to also give you the stage that I gave Daniel, talk about the accident and how you overcame to keep pushing and then ultimately still end up at University of Tennessee.
Yeah, so the accident was something very unexpected for me, especially being a star athlete in high school and in travel ball. And it took a big toll on me and a huge setback. So I wasn't really confident in how to approach the next steps when it came to me playing volleyball. Actually, when I was in the hospital, I was really scared to call my coaches at Tennessee because I've heard about girls getting their positions taken away at them at any time if it was an injury or not. So it took a lot out of me just to call my coaches and tell them what had happened. And then after I was released from the hospital, I was put straight into rehab. Just learning how to walk again was probably the biggest challenge. I had completely torn my ACL in the car accident, so I knew that would take a year off from me training, going to the next level. So I think the biggest thing for me was the depression that I didn't want to admit that I had. During my senior year, it tearing my ACL, not being able to play in high school with my peers and playing on my travel team, trying to get better, it was very depressing because I feel like for all athletes, once you know this is what you love and you can't have it anymore for a certain amount of time, I think it takes a big toll on you. And I think when the only time I realized I was getting better was after, all the rehab, the physical therapy, getting back on the court. It definitely took a toll on me, but now I'm back on the court and I've been getting like some play time, which was very unexpected as well, coming as a freshman and being, still trying to get my groove back in volleyball. But I've been very blessed having all the coaches, especially you, Coach Block, pushing me and talking to me, and people just willing to work with me because they saw the drive that I had to get back on the court. So.
Awesome. So tell me about the transition just from the mindset of 1, getting out of the depression, and then 2, once you get to Tennessee, the transition from being a high school athlete to a collegiate athlete.
So I think the biggest thing that got me out of my depression was knowing that I had something to work for. I knew that I had to do my programs when it came to physical therapy and push myself because I knew I wouldn't be me without my sport, because that's all I know, and also knowing that I had to do the small things to get to my big goal, and that was getting back on the court. So knowing I didn't have volleyball, I knew I had to take care of my grades. My mom told me, like, you will not touch a volleyball if you don't take care of your grades.
Right.
So knowing that was my biggest focus, making sure I did good on my ACT, getting into Tennessee, and having like supportive people around you. I think that was like the biggest motivation for me getting out of my depression. I think making sure you know your goal is the biggest thing, because if you don't know what you're working for, then what's the point of you working? And I think having the people I had around me, whereas my biggest supporters, was the biggest motivation that I've had getting out of that stage I was in.
So then what was the transition for going from Enloe, which is while people think it's a big school, it's kind of a small school as far as sports, to the ACC. Now we're at, or SEC, I'm sorry, you're at Tennessee.
Yeah.
So that's huge. So how has that transition been from club to boom, spotlight at Tennessee?
So, Enloe is pretty small when it comes to volleyball, especially. And I knew that being like the star of the team wasn't my ideal, because I didn't always like being the best on a team because I had nobody to compete against, and I feel like some athletes do feel that way. And I think going to a bigger school had like made me more competitive, because I wanted that, I wanted the competition. And that's why when I asked you, like, hey, can I work with y'all? Because I knew the volleyball workouts at Enloe was just nothing compared to what I was going to be faced up against at Tennessee. So I was like, the next best thing has got to be football, because I've seen the boys like out there running, and I knew you guys were in the weight room every day. So I was like, I know that's going to be my life after high school. So I was like going for it. And I think it's probably the best decision I made, because now no days off. No days off ever. Don't even get comfortable. If we didn't touch a bar that day, then something was wrong. You know what I'm saying? So the transition has been very big, but I think what prepared me the most was getting in with the football players and having them push me and you push me, and just pushing myself, because for me, just like, hey, like, can I work with y'all? It says a lot. So, but I think it prepared me the most going into Tennessee.
Awesome. Now we're about to bring on two younger athletes. They're both seniors. And so the reason why I did this, I did professional, and we did the coaching and the professional side, and we did the college side where you're at. Now we're going to do the high school side. But what advice would you give these young ladies who are looking to be in your spot as a D1 athlete, that you're like, whoa, I didn't know this? Like, so what, and especially dealing with the fact that we're in the midst of a pandemic. So this is not even a normal situation for you. So what can you give them? What type of advice can you give them to be prepared for?
Okay, yeah. My biggest advice I'd probably give some high school athletes was know what sacrifice is and get used to it. Because when it comes to sports, you're gonna sacrifice a lot of your time, energy, you're sacrificing your body and your mental health. And with COVID, you're sacrificing all the college parties and hanging out and, doing, the true college experience. I think my teammates at Tennessee tried to make the college experience like as fun as possible for me and the other freshmen for the class of 2024. Because it's only two of us, and with COVID, there was a lot of practice, dorm, go back to practice, and you go back to dorm. There wasn't a whole lot of socializing, and we couldn't, go out to dinner if we wanted to after a practice. We had to like cater it in, and so I think sacrifice, know what it looks like, and embrace it, because you're gonna need it when it comes to the next level.
Awesome. Now do me a favor, Kai, don't go anywhere, because I'm going to bring on our next guest, who are now our high school students, and we even have a D1 mom who played basketball. So you stay with us, because I'm going to have everybody on at the end, and I'm going to bring on Coach Meyers, and I'm going to bring on Morgan and Miss Nia Young and Tionda Jennings. And we can also bring in Miss Battle too, because this is the Hooper crowd right here. So we can bring them all in. How y'all ladies doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Can't complain. So there's a wild connection here with this whole little. So I know Tionda from college. She's from Pittsburgh, and Ashley's from Pittsburgh. So I've been watching Ashley, and I've been watching Tionda. Then we get to North Carolina, and Tionda sends me a text like, "They talking about you on on the internet," and I'm like, "Huh?" And I didn't know that she was even down here when I got the job at Enloe, which happens to be a conference or interconference rival with Leesville High School, where her daughter goes to. So, and she's connected with Coach Meyers through AAU basketball, and then so it's a whole connection here going. What's that called? 6 or 7 degrees of separation, something like that.
And Ashley and I played together in our AAU basketball. We played for the people.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh,
So we've known each other. Yeah, we've known each other since we were kids.
Yeah.
Oh, so super connection here, which is excellent and awesome. So, T, I'm gonna go with T, then I'm gonna go to Morgan, then I'm gonna come down and just wrap around to back to Ashley. T, tell me, so now you play with Ashley, you've done the whole D1 basketball thing, and now we're on the other side as mom watching our daughter do this. Tell me how this experience has been, and have you been the mom who's like, you got to get it done, or have you been just kind of watching and sitting back?
Yeah, so I mean, it was a blessing for me that she played because I missed basketball. So I'm glad that she decided to pick up a ball, following after myself and her dad. But my biggest thing, because I didn't want to be one of those parents that was always criticizing and, had a broken relationship with their child because they're just, you got to get in the gym, you got to do this, you got to do that. What I did off the rip was get her trainers. Mm-hmm. So I always made sure that there were people in her life that, that can teach her, and I would even tell them, like I'll send a text message to one of her trainers, like she'll hear better from you, but she needs to stop fading away on her jumper or something like that. And or I'll text her AAU coach, or, I'll even like Coach Meyers. She's also somebody that is a strong person in her circle. So I know how to get my message to her without saying it. But, I wanted to make sure that I just put people in her life that can pour into her so I can just be a mom and not have to be a coach mom.
Awesome. Now, Nia, have you seen mom play? Have you seen any video of this? Have you seen any of the works that your mom put in?
I have it, but she be telling me all the time, like, how crazy her handle was. And
hey, tell her.
How much
It was swaggy, Nia.
Yo,
twisted.
I hear about it, like, about how crispy her jump shot was. So
it was.
Like,
it was.
I heard about it. So
she shoots better than me. She shoots way better than I did. Yeah, I can. You ain't had to say it that. Like,
I just, it's the base.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So let me ask you a question, Nia, real quick, before we go into Ms. Morgan. Mm-hmm. What went into your choice for UNC Charlotte? Because I know you had a lot of schools coming at you, and I was watching post after post and watching you beat on people on the court. And so what went into your choice of UNC Charlotte?
I love this question. It's so easy to answer because Charlotte's just such a great school. So first off, of course, my parents have a big influence on my decision. They both play D1. So just like Ms. Ashley said, like, it's never been names or none of that. It was always vibes, the vibes that I got, the relationship. Do I want to be in this spot for 4 years? Do I want to be in this place for my 4 years? Am I going to be miserable here? Regardless of the name, you're not going to see that, behind the scenes. So I just looked at it from a level playing field. I talked to Coach Kerr, the coach there, and I felt wanted there. So that was a big thing for me off the rip. I always felt wanted there. I talked to pretty much everybody on the staff every single day. So it was a good feeling to be wanted. So that's for one. Two, she empowers Black women, and I've seen that even off social media, not even before I even got to build a relationship with the school, and that's a big thing for me as well. Because for all my years in high school, I've always had a male coach, and I'm like, dang, what's it like to have somebody that relates to me as well? Mm-hmm. So plus Charlotte is really close to home. It's about 2 hours away. my dad stays in Charlotte. I have aunts, uncles, cousins in Charlotte, so it's a home vibe as well. And then academically, I want to go into graphic design, so they have an art school there that I can go through a program that will help me achieve that goal. And overall, I've never heard a bad thing about Charlotte. The campus is beautiful. Everybody here in Raleigh, they tell me like, oh, like when I wear the Charlotte shirt out in public, they're like, oh my gosh, I've been there. I'm an alumni. You're gonna love it there. So all together, and plus the timing, I did commit around May. That wasn't planned at all. But it's like I felt that I even told my parents like I feel it. Like I feel like I like it here. I would love it here. So why not? Like why not just commit now? So
right.
You know, I have no regrets. I'm super excited. I tell coach every day like I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
Awesome.
I got my number there, so I'm just really excited.
That senioritis is settling in, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Morgan, let me talk with you for a second, because you have schools that you're about to pick from, and you said you got your top 3, which are Fayetteville State, Lincoln, and Elizabeth City. And you are, reason why we got Coach Meyers back up, because you one of those Lady Bulldogs, and you actually compete against Nia, right? So tell me what it's like to be a Lady Bulldog, and tell me the mindset of the Lady Bulldogs, and if you want me to, we can take Coach Meyers off the screen so you don't feel no pressure. Tell me about how it is to be underneath Coach Meyers. I heard she's the real deal.
It's definitely a test to your mental. I would say it's not for the weak-minded. It's not for people that just want a highlight. It's a family. It's like a family to me. So when I first was coming out of middle school, I was like, I don't want to go there. Like I don't want to die. Like I was like set going to Millbrook. So Millbrook is our big rivals. I was like, well, Dad, I don't want to go there. So he's like, no, you're going. So I was like, okay. So I got there and I was like, okay, this is cool. But when I first made the team, I cried my freshman year because I was like, what am I setting myself up for? So coming into my senior year, I'm like, wow, I look back like it's a family. It's more than basketball at this point. And I feel like we go through so much to where nobody can break us. Nobody can come in and ruffle up our feathers. Nobody can do that. So it's definitely, she's like a mom. Like I have a mom, but she's definitely a mom. I would consider her. If I had to call somebody that I was hurt, I call her and my mom. So it's definitely, I love her. Thanks, Coach.
Did I hear you say I don't want to die is what your mindset was? You gotta watch what you say. This woman's a teacher too. You gotta be careful.
She meant every word of that too. I understand.
Did you hear it?
Yeah.
She was like, I don't want to die. Like,
but guess what her ex-players say? That they didn't die their first college workout because they went through the Meyers Institute of Basketball, is what we call it down here. So she prepares her players for the next level. I mean, if I didn't know the area when we moved down here, if I would have known, we would have moved to Southeast Raleigh.
Sure.
I'm gonna be real, because that's something that Nia I can say it now. She's a senior. She's like, I just wish we had a coach like Coach Meyers. Because it's been a revolving door at Leesville with women's basketball coaches. They don't serious.
Yeah, and we see it so much. We play against them at least like 3-4 times a season.
Child,
it's like every time, and just seeing like, dang, imagine if we were in that top shape, and imagine if we had a sisterhood like that. So yeah, I would say the same.
So I love the fact that you're getting your roses right now, Coach Meyers. Like that's, to me, I think that's important, because people don't know. If anybody is watching this and they aspire to be a coach or anything, please know you do it for the love. You might get a stipend that maybe like $5,000, if that. And that's all you get for a whole season, multiple workouts, multiple AAU, multiple all that stuff. So you do this for the love. So when I hear the accolades that you get, believe me, I want to make sure you get them too, because I've watched from afar. And Coach Meyers, I kind of was watching how you dealt with the players, because we kind of split the same kind of kids. I mean, the distance between Enloe and the distance between Southeast Raleigh literally is maybe about 3 miles, 4 miles. So we share the same kids, but I noticed that you have a love and a bond for your players, because you understand where they come from. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that you're getting your roses now, because we 2-time Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
So I applaud you for that. I got to get a graphic that has people standing up giving the applause. Ms. Graham, please let me know with those 3 schools that you have, what are you looking for in those 3 schools? Because let's say your coaches are watching. What are the 3 things that you're looking for out of an institution?
Definitely not a drop down from high school. I want to go to a school where I don't feel like, oh, this is less than what I did in high school. So definitely somewhere where I can fit in and still grow. I don't want to go somewhere where I have to just stop growing and just be average. Somewhere where I can succeed and still learn more from the coaches. So.
Awesome. Now, you pointed to the side when you said mom. Is mom there? Is she close by?
Yeah,
okay.
She's like outside the door.
Just let mom say hello. Let mom say hello. So, Coach and also Ms. Battle, if you guys can, we got 2 young players here. What do we feed into them? How do we keep this going? So, Coach Meyers, you're the coach. You see it from the coaching aspect. Ms. Battle, you've been to the league. You've been to the highest level where they aspire to be. What information can you give them as a cheat sheet so that they can see it? And T, because if you say you wasn't too hard as mom, which I want to see Nia's eyes and see if she really believed that. If you wasn't too hard as mom, what do you 3 ladies give these 2 ladies as a cheat sheet that we didn't have? We'll start with you, Coach Meyers. Okay, we won't start with you then.
Wow.
We can start with Ms. Battles. You want to start with Ms. Battles?
All right, sure, I got it. I think one of the things that, I've been talking to Nia since she was a kid, to try to continue to help her with her game as well. So one of the things that I think that you ladies need to do is just continue to always have that yearning to learn and that yearning to want to get better, and you think you may know a couple things, but you can always go back to the basics and always work on your footwork, always work on your dribbling, always work on things that you think are redundant, but you have to be great at doing the redundant things. One of the things that, Kobe said to me and said in like one of his videos was just, you have to be great at doing the little things. You have to be great at doing the little things. And if you're capable of doing the little things really well, the sky's the limit. And that's not just with basketball, that's with life. If you're great at doing the little things, you'll be successful in whatever you do.
That's right.
T, you want to take it, or Coach Meyers, ready?
Yeah, I can take it. One thing is be resilient, because the first couple practice and workouts, you're probably going to want to quit. Yeah, hates when I tell her big sisters that who are going off to college, and I'm like, but it's real. Secondly, when you go to school, stay in the gym. Like, always put in more work outside of practice. Be a gym rat, because there are people who are gym rats and they will take your spot. And then there's always a new class of recycled people that's coming. 22 will be coming after the 21s, 23, so on and so forth. So you got to stay in the gym and, and bully them little girls when they come through.
You said that was such a straight face, like, yo.
Trust me, it happened to me when I was in my freshman year in college. We were the #1 recruiting class in college. We came in thinking we were top SHIT. Yeah. And Shay Ralph took us out one by one.
Yeah.
Took us out.
Shay Ralph was about that life. You're not just going to come and be a young buck and come through. Like, you got to, and you got to show them. Yeah.
Took us out one by one until we were like, oh, all right. Until we learned how to be like, oh, okay. Little chicken wing, get off me,
Give it back. Coach Meyers, what you got?
Just really stay true to yourself. Both of these young ladies come from strong families. And, when you get to college, you're tempted to do a lot of things and to stray from what you've been taught. And just really, staying focused and just maintaining those morals and values that got you to where you are.
Awesome. Can we bring Kaya back in, because we're about to end this, but I want to, since we got everybody here, man, like, what are some misconceptions that we have as far as just female athletics? What are some misconceptions that you guys say it ain't even like that? Stop it. Like, because, giving elbows back, all that, some guys may think they got to take it easy when y'all hit the court, or in volleyball, it doesn't make a difference. What are some misconceptions that are in female athletics?
I have one.
Go ahead.
So, well, this is a big social media thing. So every time, overtime women's basketball posts, all the guys in the comments are saying like, nobody watches the WNBA, or like the worst player in the NBA will come in and be the best player. Not like, it's just like people don't realize the fact that they're professionals. Like, they're gonna put in the work just as much as LeBron. They're gonna put in the work as much as KD. Like, you can't. I just don't think that gender has a big, is a big, like detriment to
Right.
to your game, to anybody. Like, I just, yeah. So that's a big thing for me, just men's and women's. I don't like that men are seen putting on this pedestal for sports. So.
Anybody else? Go ahead.
For me, it's community-wise. I feel like since, the area that we're in and the schools around us, we have to, travel out to, the predominantly white schools. So we get to a point to where it's the referees and the parents, they don't like you because you're a tall, Black, African-American girl that can hoop. So they don't respect that, and they don't like that. So that's when they try to tear you down. So you always just have to keep an eye out for those type of people when you go into different environments to play basketball.
Awesome. Kaya?
I definitely think it's work ethic. I feel like maybe when it comes to, men and women, I feel like it's seen more that men work harder or etc. But I know in high school, I was putting in work in the gym, and I was putting work on them grades. And Coach blocked some of your boys who weren't. So when it comes to stuff like that,
see, now you ain't got to tell everything. Now you ain't got to tell everything. even now, I feel like our football program, some of those boys are baby when it comes to academics, and my teammates talk about all the time is like, we the ones who grinding in the books and grinding on the court, and we still not getting that recognition or getting that Hall of Fame title when it comes to stuff like that. So definitely undermining women when it comes to how much we put out for our sport, because it's not just in the gym, it's everything else when it comes to academics and keeping our mind and our body right. So Coach Meyers, I'm going to switch the speed on the question for you and just say, how do you continue to cut that lane out to make sure that your ladies are seen as dominant athletes who that we shouldn't look at them as anything different than what they are, which is successful women athletes who are doing their thing? How do you continue that path without letting the narrative get swayed?
Well, I did want to hit on that last.
Go ahead.
One thing that irritates me the most is the lack of qualified coaches at the high school level for women's basketball. That irritates me because a lot of times the girls programs are stuck with coaches who just want to check, who are using that position to jump to the men's side, but not really having a passion for the girls' game at all. So I think that's something that needs to change, because I take this thing seriously. Just as seriously as a college coach takes their program. And, I think giving the girls anything less than that is really shortchanging them and their experience.
Say that.
Ms. Battle, you got anything as far as just misconception?
I feel as though there's a lot of misconception in professional sports in general and in women's sports in general. And I do know that oftentimes one of the things that really irks my soul, it really like irks my soul, is that dudes who've never played, you guys think you can beat us. You can't, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Like, it's just not going to happen, and like, don't get it twisted. Just because you're a dude and maybe you're stronger, but you suck.
And you can get this work.
And you're going to get this work.
All day.
I love it. That's the YMCA criticize every second. I can't stand that, man. And the reason why I feel like that, because my aunt played for a school back in home in Pittsburgh, Wilkinsburg High School. And she was like she's 6'4", 6'5". If there was a WNBA when she played in the 80s, she would have played in it. But, her only choice was to go overseas. And every time we would go to the court, everybody thought they were going to dominate her. You know what I mean? And even with my mom hooping, people would be like, I come to the court, I got my mom and my aunt. They're like, yeah, all right, until they get out there and bust them. And then now guys are in their feelings. You know what I mean? So,
hey, there's been plenty of times I put guys in their feelings.
All day. Milton Park, Rosenstein Park, all that.
Oh my God.
All
the time. All the time. Used to be like, and I was young too, like a little ninth grader busting dudes up.
Yeah.
So we got about 3 minutes left. I got a picture I want to show you guys, and we can go ahead and debate this picture. You are even Kaya, you're in on it too. And Ashley, you've been involved with these gentlemen, so you tell me. And where's the graphic? You got it? In order, 1, 2, and 3. Give it to me.
Am I supposed to go first? I'll go first.
Yes.
So I am Jordan 1, Kobe's 1B, and then LeBron.
Now, do you have your reason behind that? Because you know all these guys, so
I do know all of them. Yeah.
Yes. So.
And it's no slight against LeBron because I think he's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's absolutely fantastic. But Jordan's my guy. Mm-hmm. Jordan's my guy, and Kobe is a carbon copy of Jordan.
Yeah.
So they're like one and the same.
They both have a killer.
Yeah.
Us, our generation, because I used to, VHS record Jordan games and rewind them and watch them. And then on his way out was when Kobe came in. So that was a natural segue for us. So that's why he's 1B for me too. And I also love LeBron. Like his decision making going downhill in the open court transition, it's unmatched. So I concur with that on that one.
Coach Meyers?
No, I totally agree with what's put out here.
So I agree too. So
wait, Nia, remember, hey team, remember when Nia was like LeBron until the Last Dance came out?
Yeah.
So going around to the Young Bucks, we'll start with Nia. Nia, who's your 1, 2, and 3?
It's difficult. It's a love-hate relationship with my decision right now. It's my initial.
It hurts to say Mike, don't it? It hurts you to say Mike, don't it?
No, it just, I don't know, because I feel like I'm gonna get backlash either way. But anyways, my initial has always been Bron, MJ, and Kobe, but not Kobe. Of course, not Kobe being Kobe being like 1B, like y'all said.
Yeah.
But after watching Last Dance, it's just like seeing everything. Yeah, because of course, we never seen Kobe. We never seen MJ play before, so I know the energy that I get when LeBron plays. I never experienced that with MJ, so I would never have that unbiased opinion.
So,
but you seen the Last Dance, and you were like,
the Last Dance was shifty. Yeah,
that's yes.
Morgan,
nobody's like it.
Who's your 3?
He was the start of the Mamba mentality. Kobe just named it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Facts.
Mine is Jordan, Kobe, Bron.
Yes.
Jordan, Kobe. Okay. Yeah. And Kaya, you give me yours. Who you got? Who's your 3?
I've never actually watched these men play basketball. So I'm gonna leave it to the basketball ladies to.
Okay, all right, that's fair. That's fair. Now I got one last question. It's kind of a goofy one. I got one last graphic because we got to get ready to let people go so they can do this. Who's winning this tonight? Go ahead and put that graphic. Who we got tonight?
Oh, it got canceled. Ashanti got COVID.
Oh, I got canceled?
Yeah.
Nicole will watch it.
What?
Watch.
It got
I
canceled.
didn't even know I got canceled. So look at me with my I can stay up on my info.
Yeah, man.
But I
I'm
would have
too
went with
young to
Keisha
think
Cole.
about
All we're going to hear from Ashanti all night is baby, 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 baby.
She says it like 100
Yeah.
times in one song.
For artist, all she is a feature. Like,
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
how many Ja Rule songs can we?
That's all we're going to hear. That's all we're going to hear. So, ladies, look, if you do you have a final word? And we're going to cut out of here just real quick. Just anybody have a final word that you want to give to anybody who may be watching, a parent, a player? And if not, that's cool. Let me know. Anybody got any final words?
I'll just say, it's been trying times this year, and stay safe and continue to rise above and make 2021 the best year yet.
Amen.
Awesome. Anybody else? I'm going to co-sign that myself. My final word is simple, man. Let's make sure we are wearing masks and staying safe. Let's get through this thing together so we can get back to having some form of normality after everything is said and done. I want to thank all the ladies who stepped up and had a conversation, a candid conversation. This was awesome. We're definitely going to do it again. And I'm going to keep it short, sweet, and simple. Don't compare yourself. Just compete. Everybody has their own lane. Be your own heartbeat and make sure you get everything that you need to get done in your life before you start judging somebody else's. So thank you for tuning in, and God bless. We'll see you again on the next episode of First and Goal Podcast. Thanks.